Good evening. Bonsoir. Om Shanti. Greetings of peace. Welcome. So this is a special evening. Tonight we have a special guest with us, Sister Mani, all the way from London. And it feels very, very nice to have someone, a powerful yogi with us, because whenever we talk about powerful yoga, powerful meditation, we think about warmth, we think about energy, power, especially at, during these days when it's pretty cold, we need to light up the fire inside. And so we will have with us a special formula. There will be first a sharing, a talk from Sister Mani, and then in the second place there will be meditation. And Sister Mani is originally from Africa, and she moved to London in her teens. And soon after, I don't know, I remember you were 19, right? When you were introduced first to Raja Yoga, the whole family got introduced to Raja Yoga. And so she came at a young age, and she had the fortune to spend quite most of her spiritual life in the company of Daddy Jenki, one of our last director, the woman just on the left here. So it was a very, very powerful and exceptional woman. And so we're very happy to have now Sister Mani with us, because she has a lot to share about her spiritual life. And the topic tonight is being a lighthouse for the world. So enjoy her presence, and I will now invite you to join us on stage. Have a lovely evening.
No problem. Good evening and Om Shanti. Anybody here first time, or almost you come regularly? Regularly? Yes? Friend over there?
Yes.
Good. Okay. That's good. I was just thinking, this month is so special for us, and you might know about it. The founder of Brahma Kumaris accomplished whatever he wanted to accomplish. And he wanted to accomplish reality of the life in the world. He was very clear about it, but he wanted to share that with world. And then finally, month of January in 1969, he accomplished everything, and he left the physical costume, we say, with respect. But I was also thinking about that in Brahma Kumaris, we spend lots of time in silence. And when it started in 1936, Sister was mentioning about senior yogis. They were about 400. And it was started with the founder, Brahma Baba Vikol. And imagine that group of 400 had the same feelings that we have to do something for the world. And so they all got together, and amount of time they spent in silence, it was something out of our imagination. And as Sister said, that I have spent lots of time with Dadi Janki. And in the beginning, when they used to practice silence, they used to go very, very deep within, very deep within. And of course it was their world, but for 14 years, spending time in quality of silence. And after that, it was like they were incarnation of peace, incarnation. It's like they have come from the different world. And when I met first time Dadi Janki, was very young, teenage, and I had lots of questions. And sometimes you get answer, but you don't want to accept because you use your ideas, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to you. And coming in connection with Dadi Janki, it was such the first meeting. It was cannot put in the word that I felt so close to her. And it's like I want to experience what she is experiencing. But because I was very naive, and she said to me that, and I was only practicing meditation for maybe a month, 6 weeks, something like that. And when I went where she was staying, very simple house which we had, townhouse, 2 hours away from us, and knew a little bit how to meditate. And it was just beginning of center starting in London. And it was the evening time. Other sisters were out, so it was just both of us. And although I just met her once, and now this was my staying with her. And I felt so different. I says, we have same house, but this house has got different feelings. And in the evening, it was Saturday evening, I remember, that we were sitting in silence. I'm not feeling something strange. And knowing her just about a few weeks, we both were sitting there. But amount of silence was created. I was just enjoying so much, maybe over an hour. And it was so deep, so deep, so deep. So what happened in the beginning when they spent quality of time in silence for, as I say, 14 years? We don't have to spend 14 years, but it was so clear for what they have to do next, because then after spending that quality of time in silence, discovering the self, real self, and then they started to serve different parts of India and then different parts of the world. And that was actually based on silence. And memorial of Brahma Baba is created, and it's called Tower of Peace. But how he reached to that stage and how that silence was experienced, and we still experience in our centers wherever we are, that's what we do. And after even 46 years in knowledge, came in 76, it's like you want to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper in yourself. And you enjoy yourself so much. It's so beautiful when you go within yourself. And that's what they were doing. The group of, because they were the founding members of the Brahma Kumaris organization. And then they went to different parts of India and different parts of the world. Same thing they were doing. And now we can see how it has spread. But one of the vision of Brahma Baba was so clear from the very beginning, even before he discovered the knowledge of Raj Yoga. You can tell from his lifestyle that he was going into depth and looking for something. And in his silence period, he became very, very clear about the self, very, very clear about his connection with the Eternal One, his connection with the home of silence. And I was just remembering one particular event Dadi Janki was mentioning, that there were so many, as I said. And in those days, because there was some kind of shortage, so you get limited sugar, limited, everything limited, so you have to stand in the queue. And Baba said to one who was the member brother, Baba said that why this, all of them, they have to stand in the queue. We are so many. So just go and ask a person who is dealing with this, that come and see how many we are here. And according to that, we will bring whatever is our rights. And so they all were sitting so nicely. Just imagine how many were there. And then Baba says, okay, you can count how many are there. And they were sitting so peacefully, so peacefully, so peacefully. And there were some children as well. So all sorts of old, young, all sorts of. And the guy started to count. 1, 2, 3. He couldn't go he couldn't go any further than that. And Brahma Baba was watching. Then Baba said to that brother, don't give him difficulty, just tell him how many we are. And he was happy about it. And so what I'm saying is that we all have that capacity to go within, because that's what we are made of peace. And when Baba reached to his final stage, he was so peaceful, so peaceful, so peaceful, so peaceful. And we all have that we can become so peaceful, not just peaceful and like sitting and just doing nothing, but peaceful in our action life, in our relation life. That's how we are connected. And that's part of the life. You can't leave that and just say, well, I'm going to sit and meditate. It doesn't work like that. And there were 400. Just imagine what is needed in 400. Everything is needed. And it has to be, do it everything from early morning hours to late, the way the day was laid out very nicely. Everything you have to do. Yes, with the peace, but with happiness also, with love also, with wisdom also. And I was just thinking that where memorial is created, that how he reached to that state of silence, how we can reach to that final stage of our silence. And I was just thinking that one thing we have to do, because we all have experience up to some extent. We go to nature, we experience peace. We go to certain places, maybe spiritual places, religious places, up to some extent we experience peace. But what about our daily to daily life? Why we are not experiencing that? And so what is taught here is that we can remain very peaceful when we really go deep within ourselves. And one method which we use, and that is that we can become very peaceful. And that's actually our studies. And actually this month we have kind of homework. How to go into depth of the self, how to go into depth of the Supreme, how to go into depth we have come from. And even in today's our homework was learn this art to go beyond, experience that beyond stage, come into action, go beyond, come into action. And it feels so good, so good. So whole month we had homework that how we can do everything in a very focused way. And we really enjoyed full January so much. And so one of the things, when we use the spiritual wisdom, what happens then? Because we all know that meditation doesn't mean sit and think nothing and you just become quiet. It's not like that. Meditation means you go into the depth of the studies. And very first thing, you go into depth of the self. And deeper and deeper and deeper you go within yourself, you see yourself very different. Very different. Yes, this is very useful costume for me. I'm playing part, I'm performing actions. But when I do that, I can see myself. What are my attributes? How I have to use that attributes in my action life and in my relation life. And it becomes so effective It's like anything you do for some period of time, you become very natural. So that's why one of our lessons was that what is actually the teachings of spirituality is very simple. But if somebody becomes sample, when you see the sample, it becomes very easy for you. So of course, when Brahma Baba started, and then he taught all 400 of them, but he never took the credit. He says, I can't do this. It was my connection with the Supreme. And one thing, when we really have self-realization, the real self, the true self, then it's very easy to connect with the Supreme Being. Sometimes we love God, we love Supreme, but we want to connect with what we are now. So little our concept we have to change. That when I start to experience myself, the spiritual self, then I can easily connect the one who is up above. And I really start to feel that it's very easy to go beyond, connect with the Supreme. And even here, one of the things about Brahma Baba was when he discovered that, he never let go of that connection. We all know that we are eternal being, we are imperishable being, and our relationship with the Supreme, that is also eternal. But sometimes what happens when we are very much connected here, very much, because strongly we have become so much connected here. And when we receive the knowledge and we start to practice the knowledge, then we see the difference in our action and our relation. So that was the beauty of that particular group. And then they pass it on others. And all of us here, we say that, who are we? We are students of spiritual teachings. So until the end, we have to study, practice, going into depth of knowledge. And then we start to feel in our journey that I'm reaching to my absolutely final stage. And once upon a time, I was that. And the very first thing is that I was very peaceful. I was very truthful. Today somebody was asking that, what is truth? What is truth? If somebody asks you what is truth, what would you say? What would you say? Very simple, very easy. Truth means is forever. It doesn't change. We all know one day we were born physically. We go through all sorts of stages and we get old. And also we say here, we leave one costume. But there is a changes from the day we were born. Physical body goes to different stages. But I never get old. Soul doesn't have time. And that's why one of the things about founder was 83, and up to last day he was working. He left around about 8:20 on 18th January. But up to 8 o'clock, 8:05, He was conducting meditation, he was giving class, he was interacting with others. And nobody knew that after a few minutes he will be gone, and left so nicely. And same with our founding members, we call Dadis the senior sisters. Imagine Dadi Janki was 104. And the age of 104, she left in March, but in February, she was giving the lecture to, I don't know, there were about 10,000 or something like that in Pune, where she started her center, and then she came to London. And that's where I stayed with her and got that opportunity. So it's very important that she never used to say that I am old. Never. The soul never gets old. But sometimes what happens, because we have got so much physical consciousness, so physical consciousness will not let us go beyond. Or physical consciousness will not let us go deep within ourselves. And this is what we practice here. The deeper and deeper and deeper when I go within myself, I feel what I have so deep, so deep, so deep, and I become so silent. And then it's very easy to go beyond. And when I said that when I was sitting with Dadi Janki on that particular first evening, what was the experience actually? Now I can say that. And she describes very nicely that when we go deep within ourselves, and then we go above, we see the sweetness of the silence. Very powerful silence. But we also come to the point, absolutely dead silence. Absolutely dead silence. And that's the time actually what's happening. The soul is getting so much rest. So much rest. You know, they say that real sleep, we may sleep 5, 6, 7 hours, whatever we need. But the real sleep, they say it's only 20 minutes. Only 20 minutes. And so when we really go into that 20 minutes, it's like you're not exist. It's like you finish with everything. So you are in such a deep rest. So what is when I go beyond? We don't stay there long. If we stay longer, I think we receive so much energy and power. And that's the ultimate, that by practice, we experience sweetness of the silence, very powerful silence, quality of silence. In that silence also deep bliss, deep lightness. But it's like I'm having a real rest. Real rest. And in that, when I was sitting in that room, now I can say it was the land of silence He created in this little place. Do you like to create something like that?
Yes.
Can never forget that particular meeting with her. And then I started to kind of take more and more interest. I want to experience it. You know, when you taste something, it's so nice. So I started to kind of put my mind more and more into it. And then, what happens? We don't become just knowledgeable. We don't just become peaceful. But we really become truthful. We operate from our true self. At the moment, it's mixed. Sometimes we experience so much peace, sometimes we don't experience peace. But when we come to our truthful state, then we experience constant. And not just that, we come to the point that my nature actually, naturally is peaceful. Naturally. When something is natural, nature, but we have adopted many things from our journey which is not useful. And so what happens in spiritual journey to reach the final lighthouse stage? We go through little ups and downs, but it's okay. But when I experience something, I hold to that. And day by day by day by day, I start to experience. And I come to the final stage as well, which this month, all of us, all over the world, we experience that beauty of silence, depth of silence. And then what happens? It's not just lighthouse, but we can also become might house. Because in this silence, in the land of silence, you also connect with the Almighty. We had such a beautiful lesson this morning, that when we realize the self, when we have self-realization, then we connect with the Supreme, the one who is Almighty. So yes, we become lighthouse, but we also become might house. And one of the things, if we see in the present, Brahma Baba is very, very clear that what's going to happen in the future. And one vision he had, what's going to happen in the future. And he loved the human family. We all are very strongly connected. And he said one day, entire world will need this peace. And we have to become a lighthouse. By understanding the depth of spirituality, using knowledge in a very deep way, and that's why we have everyday homework of the mind. What mind has to do every day. And so when we do that, we become so clear about everything. Everything. So there is clear wisdom, spiritual wisdom. And when we go into the next stage, by using the wisdom, we become full of might. Because yes, we need to be lighthouse, but we also have to be might house as well. So what happens here actually? I was also thinking, once we travel, when we left Uganda, we have to come to Kenya, we have to come to a place called Mombasa. We have to take the steamer. We were 8 days in the steamer. In those days, mean of travel, flight was less. It was a very enjoyable journey. But when we were reaching to the place, and every place is, where the ocean is, there is a lighthouse where the steamer goes. And what it does, steamer has to come here. Boat has to come here. That's what the lighthouse is signaling. And it used to be from very far. Only it took 8 days, but as we were reaching closer and closer, here you have to become. You have to come here. This is your final journey. And so what happens when we really, really become lighthouse? How many people we are connected with? One individual, how many we are connected with? Our family, our friends, our, extended, whatever. And when they see us, we inspired them as lighthouse has come. But lighthouse wasn't there one day. And I was just thinking, there are many lighthouses I have seen that it's near the ocean. But how deep, to create lighthouse, how deep it needs to go so it can stay stable. So what happens when we practice the spirituality in the life? We really go deep, 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 deep down. We become so strong, no matter what comes. Sometimes, the waves of the ocean comes very fast. I know recently there was a big storm. The lighthouse, because the foundation is so strong, it will just stay stable. So we are living in such an uncertain world. All sorts of things are happening around us. When our foundation is very, very deep, no matter what comes, the world is full of problems, obstacles, storms. So when we really become lighthouse, it becomes easy for others to see us, and they get inspiration. And after becoming lighthouse, when we connect with the Supreme, all different powers we received which we need in our life. That was our lesson this morning. Sometimes we need power to face, sometimes we need power to tolerate, sometimes we need power to adjust. Many different powers we need in our life. And when we start to practice that beyond stage, which I was saying, and when we really have that rest in beyond world, and when we come back, we see all the powers are there. I don't have to work on one individual power. I see very clearly, my decision becomes very, very clear. My discern becomes very, very clear. Tolerate, no problem. I can tolerate anything. It is vast. Sometimes I have to tolerate sickness, sometimes I have to tolerate people. Sometimes unpredictable thing comes. Okay, no problem. So all different powers we need in our life. When we really go beyond and have that rest, real rest, the mind is resting, then we'll see all different powers we have in our life. And more we use it, more we become expert. So, when we become Lighthouse, and when we receive so much might, then it becomes so easy. Whoever we are connected with, they can follow very easily. So is that what you want to become? How to become Lighthouse, might house for the world? Yes? So let's practice for a few minutes. Go into depth of the self. Go beyond. Connect with the Supreme. And experience that Lighthouse, might house stage. Yeah? So when we sit in meditation, which I think you have practiced, but I'll give you some thoughts for that. I sit up straight. I relax my body. I'm very much into present. I, the being of light, sitting behind the forehead, the deeper I go within myself, I feel the lightness of the self. I, the spiritual being, my eternal nature, so clean, so pure, being of truth. With these feelings of lightness, my mind is so light. It can fly beyond. It leaves everything behind. It comes to different dimension of light. The world of light. The world of silence. I'm connected with this place. I also feel connected with the Supreme Light. Waves of light is embracing me. Waves of peace is giving me very deep feelings of the unlimited peace. I feel like I'm very much connected with myself, the real self, the peaceful self, full of light, connecting with the Supreme. I also feel full of might. At this place, beyond everything, what I'm feeling feelings of lightness, lighthouse, feelings of might house, and I think of my family. The world is my family. And with this connection, unlimited connection, sitting beyond, I love my family. I have merciful feelings like my father, and I send the waves of light, waves of might, very powerful peace, to the human souls who are in need. And it is reaching to all over the globe. The more and more I do that, I feel the blessing from the Supreme, the blessing from my world family subtly is received. the more and more I do that, I connect very subtly with the entire world. This is the selfless service. It's my duty in time of need. I draw everything from the Supreme and I spread that to my world family. Now I know the art of going within. I enjoy doing that. I feel so good. I know the art of going beyond in company of the might, Almighty Father, drawing everything from Him, and spreading to the entire world. When I come back, experiencing beyond stage, I feel different. Spiritually, I connect with everyone. My world is different. I operate from within, based on spirituality. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Thank you. Shanti. Alors, I hope you had, you enjoyed very much the quality of silence. Have you? Yes. It's nice to meditate with an experienced yogi, isn't it? So this is easy that way. So this is why we enjoy having your presence, and it's always good for us to go back to the roots of the organization. There was Brahma Baba, there was Daddy Janki, and there was Sister Mani online.
we followed your story with great interest. And it's good from yourself to Daddy, to Brahma Baba, and then to the Supreme Soul eventually. We feel that connection. And it's very, very precious to have those experiences being shared with us. So thank you so much. And this is what we enjoy, is that beyond the words, eventually silence all unites us. And that creates such a beautiful energy amongst ourselves here, but also with the greater family around the world. And so to close that evening, of course, we have this beautiful tradition of sharing not just sweet words, but also real sweets. And so this is your special moment between you and Sister Mani. You can come in front and enjoy the spiritual vision from soul to soul, and enjoy. And I would also like to thank everyone who joined us online. So we hope that you could feel the powerful vibrations at l'Emergence. And so stay tuned. Very soon we will send our programming of the months of February. And so see you very soon, online or at l'Emergence. Om Shanti.